Perhaps still the most important story today, and the most important story in a long time in the United States, is the feud between Texas and the federal government. Texas is now escalating the conflict by offering ranchers razor wire themselves. My friends, I mean, we're at the door of militia conscription, essentially. The government calling upon men to defend their borders. This is getting wild. Texas escalates feud with federal government, telling ranchers SCOTUS ruling on razor wire not final, offering to give ranchers razor wire as migrants are now sneaking into U.S. through private property. This is the Texas government approaching private citizens and saying, will you assist in the protection of your great state? These guys are already armed. We are like, this is like the beginning of forming a militia to join up against the federal government. Man, Texas ups the ante again, looking for ways to expand its use of razor wire, this time on private property. After the Supreme Court ruling, Texas border czar Mike Banks told ranchers Wednesday the state could install razor wire on their property free of charge. The state official told a packed room of ranchers who met just outside of Eagle Pass. This comes after the Supreme Court of the United States ruled Monday that U.S. Border Patrol agents who report to President Joe Biden could cut through the razor wire if they deemed it necessary. The barrier has put in place by order of Republican Governor Greg Abbott. In the past, federal agents have cut it when they believed migrants were in danger of drowning in the river that separates Texas from Mexico. Now, I'm going to stop you right there and ask, where's Mexico's responsibility in this? They're just how about Mexico put up razor wire on their side to stop people from walking from Mexico into the river? What is this sick game where it's our responsibility to help people who are being reckless? It's getting wild. Very, very wild. Apparently, they'd released dam water or something. The river was raging. There's video of a guy getting stuck. The razor wire is deployed in multiple cities and areas of the Texas border, including Eagle Pass. With just 28,000 residents, the town has become a major hotspot for migrants since President Joe Biden took office in 2021. Currently the second busiest spot along the southern border behind Lukeville, Arizona. The tiny town has also become a political flashpoint. About 2 weeks ago, the Lone Star State took control of Shelby Park, owned by the city of Eagle Pass, claiming the move was necessary since it is a popular place for illegal immigrants to cross into the country and then claim asylum, for which they're lying, by the way. A move that would almost ensure their release into the U.S. while their case is heard in court. They give them cell phones. They give them cash. They give them free rides. Border Patrol agents are committing. Now I gotta push back here a little bit on Greg Abbott. They say by order of Governor Abbott, Border Patrol agents were kicked out of the park, setting up a showdown between Abbott and the Biden administration over who has authority to secure the border. I can respect a light touch. Guys, get out. But hold on there a minute. You do not want to see a Governor Tim Pool. Because I don't want office. I don't want to be in office. But I tell you what I would do. I would instruct my law enforcement to arrest. I would personally go down with sheriff's troopers and National Guard, would form a perimeter around the Border Patrol agents who are engaged in human smuggling operations. And I would say, gentlemen, on your knees, drop your weapons, place your hands on your head. I'd look to my law enforcement and say, take care of the rest. Now, perhaps my order is not the appropriate. I'd say hands up, on your knees, whatever the order is. I would personally instruct these CBP agents who are engaged in human smuggling operations. And then I'd ask law enforcement to handle the rest. But I'm not going to ask anybody to do anything I would not be willing to do myself. I believe these men should have been arrested on the spot. I believe that as soon as Texas made clear it is illegal to cross the border and facilitate illegal crossings, should have walked right up to those agents and said, gentlemen, as you know, it is a crime what you are doing. You are under arrest. Lock them up. No bond, no bail. Criminal charges, investigation, a jury of their peers. Let the federal government negotiate. Instead, well, to be fair, I can respect the light touch. As I said, he just said, guys, you got to leave. I actually take issue with that. Why? because they have a badge, they're allowed to walk away after being engaged in human smuggling operations? Could you imagine that? Coming across cops robbing a bank and you go, put the money down and leave and I'll let you go. Is that a joke? The feds have warned Texas that only the federal government has the authority to enforce immigration law, and that the Department of Justice is exploring all options to force Texas to let Border Patrol agents do their job. Abbott's takeover of Shelby Park has also had other unintended consequences. Oh, really? Instead of having migrants surrender to Border Patrol agent in the giant open space of a public park, asylum seekers, criminal aliens, are mostly avoiding the area. I'm not playing your sick games, Daily Mail. They have moved north and south of the park, illegally crossing into the U.S. through the ranches and other property that sit on the border. Now they're on my property. Louis Valderrama, who owns a 400-acre ranch west of Eagle Pass, said, they don't mention he said that, since the state took over the park, Valderrama is seeing groups of migrants as large as 200 people come onto his land every day since it sits directly on the international border. It's unknown how many ranchers took Texas up on their offer to provide free razor wire. He's now given Border Patrol agents access to his land so they can arrest the migrants. But that's not what they're doing. I'm going to tell you this, Louis, do not think that I or anyone else is going to give you a free pass for aiding and abetting human smugglers. You're letting CBP agents onto your property. Why? So they can bring these guys into the country illegally? That's what you're doing. These people who are entering illegally are getting assistance as they commit crimes. You're lucky Texas offered to give you razor wire to make it stop. Okay. The light approach, using sugar instead of vinegar. Hey there, mister. I see you're letting human smugglers operate on your land. CBP. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to install razor wire free of charge, and you will stop working with human smugglers. I think that's a fair deal. It's a fine deal, and if this man says no and wants to continue working with human smugglers, we arrest him too. Criminal charges, aiding and abetting a human smuggling operation. Granting access to your property, your assets, your resources to facilitate human smuggling. Why, that sounds like a crime, good sir. But of course, you can make the argument, I'm trying to make it stop. Fair point. Then we'll put that razor wire up for you. No problem. No charge. No charge to you. Most migrants on his land are caught, but sometimes they'll run away from Border Patrol, becoming gotaways. Migrants the Border Patrol knows made illegal entry into the U.S., but did not get arrested. Since October 1st, at least 96,000 gotaways have crossed the southern border. I have an 8-foot fence at the very top. I have razor wire, Valderrama explained, of what measures he previously took on his own property to keep migrants out. He also previously allowed the Texas National Guard onto his property to add rows of concertina wire meant to keep migrants out. I respect that. Good job, sir. I'm watching these migrants cross and I'm like, wait till they come across. They're not going to know what to do. Nah, they'll come up and they'll just hop over it like deer. I couldn't believe it. So he turned down the state's latest offer for add more wire. There's nothing you really do. If migrants know when they get across and they turn themselves in, they're just going to get processed and released. There's no stopping them. The rancher and retired Border Patrol agent said, well, perhaps you should stop working with CBP and bar them from your property. I think the problem here is the Biden administration, Arizona, they arrested a guy for defending his property. Look, man, the National Guard, I believe, should forcefully enter his property. I really do. We have an invading force. If this guy's not going to assist Texas National Guard in defending it, then they should say, then we're going onto your property. We're not going to seize your property. We're not going to own your property, but we are going to stop these people from using your property to illegally enter the country. Speaking to ranchers, Texas Congressman Chip Roy, whose district is just hours away from the border, admitted the fight over Shelby Park really isn't about Shelby Park. Part of it, though, for the governor is to pick the fights and have a legal fight. Part of it is to demonstrate that Texas is going to do what it needs to do. So part of it was a strategy to say, we're going to grab that land and we're going to have that fight. Well, Valderrama isn't happy with the state of Texas for making migrant crossings the problem of private citizens. He also thinks the Biden administration isn't doing its job. If the federal government isn't going to do it, someone has to do it. When asked how or when the state versus federal government standoff would end, he said, when there's a new president. Is that what you think? Things are getting hot, man. This is basically an effort by Texas to conscript, in a manner of speaking, private citizens to assist in the securing of the border. Let's make this as very simple as possible. The federal government is derelict in its duty in violation of its oath. They are not sending forces to defend states from invasion. So the state has taken it upon himself to fulfill the role the federal government has failed to do and is asking private citizens to lend a hand in securing the border. We're at the militia phase of the arms race. There's many people have pointed out Biden's probably going to take the approach of blathering, big talk and no action, legal stuff. I agree. I hope so too. I hope this doesn't escalate. But I think you got to have this guy's property secure too. Look, with all due respect to this guy, he deserves to have his property protected. And I think Texas National Guard should help. I'll leave it there. Next segment is coming up tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.